And again, good morning to all of you here in the new sanctuary of Metro East Unitarian Universalist Congregation, and greetings to those watching the service remotely. This is a welcoming religious community, and we are so glad you are here. And I will add, it's really so nice to see a lot of people that I saw yesterday at Unity Fest. I feel like we had a 5-hour-long service yesterday at LeClaire Park. So I have lots of water because I think I can get through this without going hoarse. My name is Allison Lamothe. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am delighted to welcome you all here today. It is great, as I said, to see you all here, whether new friends, longtime members, or returning folks, and I hope that you will all take the time and coffee hour to reach out to someone new and say hello and offer them a welcome. We welcome everyone to this home of comfort, spirit, justice, and hope, and a welcoming place for weird people. As our t-shirt says proudly, we are Unitarian Universalists. Joy will play our prelude. I'm finding a chalice lighter. Would you like a chalice? You can do a match. Okay. Well, it's not a match. It's a kind of a cool electrical thing that you plug in and. Oh, actually, no, it's not. It is a different one. But I think it works the same way, right? Yeah. Okay. So you turn it on. Oh. Is it working? Yeah. There it is. Oh, it's okay. Well, it is. And it doesn't stick out like a flame. See, it goes just between these two little bumps here. So if you push this and put it right over that wick, it will light it. And it shouldn't hurt anybody else. Okay, so this button, and then when you're done, just let it back down, and when the blue dots are off, you know that it's turned off. Okay? Got it?
So press that button.
Press that. I'll stay right here until it's lit. How's that? I've had to get used to these in our camper. All right, Matt. Go ahead. Oh, nice. All right. Yeah, and you never run out of gas because you just plug it in when it doesn't work anymore. Isn't that great? Oh, whoops. You all have read the instructions.
Our separate summer lives, and it lights our way forward into this new church year of promise and renewal.
Okay, so usually I say why we do this first. Can I just skip the why, or shall I tell the why? Okay, you want me to just turn it around? Sure. Yes? Okay. So now that we've read the prayer that I was going to say, let's pray together. I'm just going to describe what we just did. This is an important ritual in the Unitarian Universalist faith. We have many different interpretations of the flaming chalice, including the light of reason, the warmth of community, and the flame of hope. If you are watching elsewhere and have a chalice or candle, please light it. And we've already said the blessing, so we're moving on to the next part. And I think that is not me, that is you.
Okay. Prepare yourself in a prayerful or meditative, air. Spirit of unity, still our hearts so we may listen. Create grounding presence for us to be able to reflect. Give us strength to share and joy, and courage to know who we are yet again. Amen and blessed be. So, welcome. I am your ministerial fellow, Eden, and I am so glad to see all of you today on this day of ingathering. We are Metro East Unitarian Universalist congregation, and greetings to those watching remotely as well. This is a welcoming religious community, so we are glad you are here. So, if you wouldn't mind, turn to someone around you and say hello, or shake hands if you feel comfortable. Did we already do the laptop?
No, I mean, it's just in this order, so that is, yeah, that's fine, we're good. And then there's the hymn, and then there's our communion.
Okay.
Oh, actually, yeah, okay. There's the hymn and then the water communion. Okay. That's what I've got.
And now we will do our hymn. The louder talking. No.
Louder talking.
It is now time to sing our hymn.
Gathering song.
Yes. Awesome. So today our value is interdependence. As UUs, we gather around shared values and principles in contrast with maybe other faith communities, religious or spiritual communities, who might gather around a particular shared history or of a people or figures within that shared history. In theological terms, we look towards more of a dominant role of orthopraxy, the right practice of relationship or the right practice of doing, and then orthodoxy, which is right belief. So in that spirit, one of our core values is interdependence, which comes from this statement in our shared values. We honor the independent web, the interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life, with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We practice this seeing ourselves not as individuals, but as communal beings. And we are empowered we are empowered in this recognition of being part of the whole system to act, to see our place in it, and to work as well. That is the second part of this value, is we covenant to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships. This shared value was adopted by the General Assembly in 1985, but it was the work of Lucille Shuck Longview 10 years prior, after an experience she had as a devoted member of a UU parish in Lexington, Massachusetts. She served as a UU delegate to the United Nations Women's Year, assembled in Mexico City. She returned from that assembly convinced that religion, even her beloved Unitarian Universalism, was a chief culprit in the perpetuation of oppressive sexism. So she gathered folks around and she decided to author a pamphlet entitled Women and Religion Resolution, and it was eventually passed in 1977 by the General Assembly. That resolution called for an intensive examination of the sexism inherent in religious literature and institutions, beginning with the UUA itself. And in that spirit, the president of the UUA put together a committee to work on the resolutions, and districts were encouraged to support related women and religion groups. These groups quickly noted the necessity of rewriting the original 1961 UUA's purposes and principles, which use male-gendered language to express the concerns and dignity of mankind, and which failed to address the care of Mother Earth as a religious priority. Which brings us to the next part of our service, the water communion. As Lucille organized with other lay women to have educational meetings, conversations, and shared rituals, the water communion became central to their movement within the UUA. One person remarked about it, it was a ritual of women's beings connected by a universal symbol, water. A ritual of being connected to the totality of life, in contrast to the centering of terms like mankind. These women asked the view of the denomination to widen, to teach of what covenant means, but doing first within, before going without or outside, so as to overflow into a sustainable river. So with that idea of going from this human or man-centered way, this ritual became a way of knowing and experiencing and practicing what it means to not only center humanity or women as equal, but to widen a vision of we are connected to all that is. And so in that spirit, we come together to put water that you may have come with you or not into our bowl today. And as I pour out these waters to start us off, it's a reminder that there is waters from which we came as the womb, as the Earth Mother, and we belong inside it, and we desire to put our own ways and processes within the context of the waters that came before. So in that spirit, if you have water and you want to put it in here, and maybe you want to say where you got it from or why is it meaningful to put it into this shared space, that would be great. Just closer. Okay.
Yes, this water is from a lake called Badin Makaska in Minneapolis, which is the Lakota name for a lake that used to be called Lake Calhoun for a long time for John C. Calhoun, the famous slaver and white supremacist that was part of the United States in the while. Minneapolis changed the name 2012 thereabouts into the original name, and this is water from there representing healing.
This water is from my rain barrel outside my house, and it has saved me a ton of money when it comes to watering all of my plants.
Awesome.
This comes from Nowhere Special. It's just clean drinking water, and that's important to all of us.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. This is from Robin's Pool. Beautiful, thank you.
You gonna tell them what it's from?
Okay.
It's from the hot tub.
From the hot tub. I love
Okay, I'm not sure I should add mine. Mine is from the bucket where the rainwater has been all summer with its little mosquito thing in it. And the tadpoles have been laid there. And there are now frogs and tadpoles in the water. And so even though the water's been trapped all summer and it's been growing algae and other things are living in it, and it's alive water.
Okay, maybe a little.
I-
Yeah,
a little.
You know. Great. Yes.
Oh, all right, well.
I'll admit, I was going to bring water from home. I forgot it. So this is water from my second home, which is right here with you.
Yay!
This water came from my kitchen sink, but it has a story behind it. We live in St. Louis County, and so our water comes from the Missouri River. And in the 50s and 60s, my father was a filter plant operator at the St. Louis County Water Company, and he was in charge of testing the water to make sure it was usable. And the past July, Jerry and I took a bus tour to Oregon, which followed the Missouri River all the way, and from Hartford, and we stopped at the headwaters of the Missouri River in Montana, where the Jefferson, Madison, and Gallatin rivers come together. And so this water, if it could talk, would have a grand adventure to share.
Aw, thank you.
This water is from a creek by my house.
Yay, thank you. Beautiful. Okay. So today, we center the earth as a teacher whose streams sustain us and remind us of our part in an interdependent web. These streams offer new beginnings and a chance to widen our vision to see our reality more clearly than we could before. So now is the time for joys and sorrows. As part of our weekly worship service, we take time for expression of joys, concerns, or sorrows, Home for us means a place where we can each share the things that weigh down our souls or that fill us with joy, and where those we love surround us in good times and in turmoil. If you would like to recognize a joy, a sorrow, or a milestone, you can come forward and place a stone or several stones into the water bowl to represent your joys and sorrows. There are stones here at the front. I invite you now to come forward down this aisle and then process back to where you came from this way. If you're not able to navigate this for any reason, just raise a hand and someone will put a stone in for you. Because in this place we bear one another's burdens and share one another's cares. Let us be in a spirit of prayer and meditation. Okay, so now is a time for all ages, and we're gonna watch a video about belonging. But while we do that, I invite you who are young or young at heart to, did everyone grab some colored pencils on their way in? Okay, if you did not, Robin is catching those from the outside. Okay, great. And I invite you to draw, and whatever comes to mind, whatever it makes you feel to be in this space, I invite you to draw that, or color, or put something on a Post-it note, and allow whatever comes to come.
Oh, Post-it notes over here. Hold on. I got it. Oh, you're good. There's some over here too.
Okay.
There you go. Anybody else? You're welcome, man.
Okay, I can read it. When I arrived into this world, everything was one big whirl. So many places, so many faces, and oh, so many many races. Where should I go exploring first? I was so excited I could burst. This world was so big and vast. I couldn't wait to find friends fast. Yeah, the first group that I came across was outside playing lacrosse. I never played that game before, and I didn't want to ruin the score. Since I couldn't play along, I felt like I did not belong. I walked up the hill and around the bend, hoping to find some different friends. The next group that I landed on was playing outside on the lawn, dancing and singing with each other, one song after another. I couldn't dance or sing a song, another place I didn't belong. So I continued on my way, hoping I'd find a place to play. The next group that I found was lifting rocks off the ground. This group was so strong and tough, it made me feel not good enough. I kept on chugging right along, hoping to find a place I belong. After a little bit of walking, I found a new group of people talking. This group had to be the one. They're having so much fun. They were building a racing car. I could tell they were really smart. I was afraid that I'd look dumb and a place would never come where I would feel like I belong, and so I kept moving on. But then I thought, this can't be right. I cannot give up this fight. I'm going to find someone like me, even if I have to climb a tree. Up and up I went, hoping to find someone to befriend. I did not see anyone around, but I did see a tiny town. I ran and ran to the town square, hoping to find some people there. There was not a single person in sight. Things were not looking bright. I released a great big sigh, and I tried really hard not to cry. I closed my eyes and made a wish. At this point, I would have taken a fish. But then a voice said, "Come along." I hoped it would take me where I belonged. I followed the voice through the town, and I couldn't believe what I found. The voice led me to a stage. I was a little nervous. It felt so strange. Whoever was out there, I couldn't see, but suddenly a spotlight came on me. "Is it anyone there? Anybody there?" I asked. The crowd responded, "You made it at last." Who were these voices? I had no clue, but my curiosity grew. I moved in to get a better look. My hands trembled and my knees shook. What a magnificent and happy sight. I wasn't sure if this could be right. It was all the people I had met telling me something I would never forget. You were so fast to run away, we never got a chance to say, we really want to be your friend if you would just come back again. We've been trying to tell you all along, you really, truly do belong. For the first time since I'd come here, I didn't want to disappear. My heart filled up with all their love as everyone gave me hugs. It didn't matter if I could play lacrosse or dance or sing or toss a rock. It didn't matter if I could build a racing car. What mattered was what's in my heart. It all came down to one belief that I'm now ready to put to sleep, that there was not a place for me to be a person I wanted to be. The new belief for which I belonged is that I really, truly do belong. Yay. So now is our time to dismiss. Being a preschool teacher really does come in handy sometimes. So children, you're invited to go. As you I was gonna have them all come up and put them on here.
Do you want me to bring it back?
Yeah.
Okay.
I forgot that part.
You just want to get a movement.
Yeah, they don't know what to expect. No, we need you.
So you're on, you're supposed to come back.
Okay,
You were
come,
recalled.
yeah, come put it on the poster. Or I can come to you if you want. Yay, thank you.
I have this one from one child.
Love it.
He left his seat.
Beautiful.
Oops. But I guess it was mine.
Okay. Yes. I will hold it.
That's fine.
Throw it up anyway.
Hopefully this whole thing will just be covered. Fun.
That's the goal.
Awesome. Now is our time to sing. Who is Metro East Unitarian Universalist Congregation? Is the question that we are exploring today as we are coming together. And I was, glad to see some of you representing Metro East at Unity Fest yesterday. This was my first one. And it was beautiful to see so many different kinds of organizations who care and are working for wellness for so many. There was no commerce at this festival, if you're not familiar, because Unity Edwardsville centers inclusivity, which means everyone can come and join and enjoy. And I just thought it was just a beautiful offering to take part and to practice and experience that cultivation of a community not based on monetary means. And, we are a community who values those kinds of spaces, the welling up of belonging that comes not from outward status, but an inner knowing of dignity based in our values that we belong. This is not a top-down game. We like democracy here. We want to hear from each other. And in that spirit, as I was planning and researching about what to say today, I realized it wasn't for me to tell you, because I only know a part, maybe a drop of who you are. So let our streams of history come together here to begin again. So I come to you with some questions today that I want you to reflect on briefly. And so I will, and I also wanted to honor some of the research that Mary Johnson, a lot of her prepared works of the PDFs and putting them on our website. So if you're interested in a lot of our history, we have it open on our website for you to peruse at your leisure. But I wanted to come and bring some of those moments to mind about the history of this congregation and of this movement, as it has to do with Alton, and now here we are in the Metro East area. And so I will talk briefly. I will ask one of the questions that I want you to consider, and I want you to write it on your sticky note, and then I'll talk briefly. We'll have some time to reflect, and hopefully have a little brief time to be able to put them on our board together. So make sure you got your sticky notes. I know you had to find them, right? And I have more up here if you need. But 127 years ago, in 1898, 12 women of this church formed an organization to help the needy in the community. The women named their group the Anna D. Sparks Alliance, in memory of Anna Davenport Chapman Sparks. And in a 1943 booklet written about the history of the Anna D's, it is mentioned there that they had three main areas of interest: concern for the welfare of the community, denominational activities, and support of the church. And they did. They did numerous things to enliven all kinds of charities and organizations. And I think it's kind of it's good to be in connection with people like Unity. We're still in that, in those connections. And Anna D, her group still lives on. I'm going to, if you're, announcement, if you're, we have on the first Thursday, I believe there is a lunch for those gathered, in her name, to still organize, to still dream and hope and believe that new and meaningful connections and care can be demonstrated in our community. And, Anna D's have been around for, I would say, most of the lifetime of Metro East. I even wonder if Lucille the person who organized with the water communion, maybe organize with them too. The local organizers are sometimes more apt to know what is needed. I mean, 60, 70 years before it was organized, before even the focus as a denomination on the matters of women in ministry or in our organization. So that's living here. Like that was already here, even as the denomination was catching up. And that matters. So I want you to consider this question. How has Metro East UUC been there for me over my lifetime? Religious or spiritual communities are sometimes the only place that is with us that long. And maybe it's not specifically Metro East, but it's things that you've connected here over your lifetime and hope to know more deeply in this space. Yes. How has Metro East been there for me over my lifetime? And there is so much more history I wanted to share. Like the fact that the high school in Alton was formed out of this church, like was housed in this church before it moved into a building. Like that legacy of desiring literacy, desiring for people to know and understand, and for young folks to thrive. And another question that I hope that you would consider on your next sticky note is maybe how you've changed since being here.
Did you say maybe how you changed some people?
How you've changed since being at Metro East. Yeah. Yeah. And I wish we had some more time, but for our last question, what I really think is important for our work here now in the future is, our movement was tied to a building in Alton, and it did so many great things. And now being here at the Masons Lodge, and we're renting and we're working things out, but we're still in that unknown place. And I just wonder, I've heard folks say, oh, but once we get a building or once this happens. But I think it's important to also know what has happened over the past year or so that we've been here. How has this community cared for you, or you have cared in this community for another, possibly, in the past year or so?
Sorry, I lost my pencil. Could you repeat that?
Yes.
How I lost it, I was just writing with it.
In the last year, what is a meaningful moment that you've had in this community? So, as I said, my job isn't to tell you who you are. It is to remind you of the importance of telling your story as a community, in community. You know who you are, and it matters. There is power here. There's love here. And, I wanted to end by inviting up one of our newer members to read a portion of his reflection on, at the Baha'i Community Center, there was a conference asking the question, what does it mean to be in beloved in community, in vibrant community? And this is what he wrote about our community. Thank you, Keith.
Yeah, so hard to believe, but I've only been a member for about a year. Vinny looks so much different than he used to. They grow up so fast. All right. So this is what I wrote and shared at the Baha'i conference, as Eden mentioned. I'll skip over the introduction of me. I'm Keith, by the way. Hello. All right. Our congregation has been around in one form or another for almost 200 years. I did put in brackets 189, so I wanted to be accurate if anybody asked. I want to share what I've learned about a vibrant community through my experience as a newcomer to both this area and Unitarian Universalism. About a year ago, I was a new parent, feeling pretty isolated, searching for community. Not necessarily a place to be converted, but somewhere I could belong authentically. As a secular humanist and atheist, I'd honestly given up on finding a spiritual community that would embrace me exactly as I am. But something remarkable happened when I walked into the Unitarian Universalist congregation with my baby. We were genuinely welcomed, not despite our differences, but because of them. The congregation saw me and welcomed me as I am. And through this experience, I discovered something fundamental. Community and shared values, rather than uniform beliefs, are what hold vibrant communities together. So let me tell you what that looks like for me. In our congregation, secular humanists and atheists like myself sit alongside Christians, Buddhists, pagans, agnostics, and others. We don't try to convince each other or find the lowest common denominator. Instead, we learn from each other. A Buddhist might offer wisdom about mindfulness, while I share a humanist perspective on modern masculinity. Maybe a Christian speaks about grace in a way that deepens everyone's understanding, regardless of their personal theology. What unites us isn't what we believe about the divine, but our shared commitment to the values like justice, compassion, and respect for the inherent worth and dignity of every person. This approach became especially meaningful as I began examining the ways I'd learned to perform masculinity rather than simply being myself. When I stopped performing strength and started experiencing it authentically through genuine connection with others, I found a different kind of power, one rooted in vulnerability rather than invulnerability, in interdependence rather than isolation. I'm not sure I would have figured that out without my faith community. And this creates something powerful, a community where theological diversity becomes a source of strength rather than division, where questions are welcomed, not feared, where people can show up as their whole selves, where children are treasured as essential parts of our shared life, and where differences are celebrated as essential to our collective wisdom. When we focus on shared values while honoring different paths, we're modeling what vibrant community can look like everywhere, in our schools, our neighborhoods, and our civic organizations. We're showing that you don't need everyone to think alike to care about each other and to work together towards a more just and compassionate world. The world needs more spaces like this, where difference is celebrated as sacred, where families of all kinds are welcome, and where we can work together for justice and peace while remaining true to our own spiritual journeys. Where community is built not on conformity, but on the radical idea that our diverse perspectives and experiences make us stronger together. That's what a vibrant community looks like to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Oh, yes. Now we will turn in our gray hymnal to 121.
Yes.
time for the offering. And I'm going to go off script a little bit because I learned just before the service that today's offering will benefit the queer prom. And would you like to say a little bit more about that, Sayer, before the basket goes around?
Sure, it's,
Come on up. Yes, I think you've got to come up and use the microphone.
it's a queer homecoming. There's a local group, social group here called the Edwardsville Queers, Evil Queers, and we're coordinating with Epic, and we're making joy for trans and queer people in our community. You have to be 16 and older. It's an alcohol-free event. We're trying to make it free for everybody. I need to raise $300 to make it free to pay for all the stuff, and we'd love for you to come. It's going to be it's next week, not this week, next week. I don't know the date, October 11th, I think. Yeah. So it's going to be at the Farm Bureau building in Edwardsville. On your way to Hamel, yes. And there's all kind of programming. We're having an elder round table. We're having yoga. We're doing so you can QR code, you can find us on this, and I would love for anybody to come out. It's allies are welcome. We're centering trans and queer people, but allies are welcome.
All right. As Robin passes around the basket.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
I knew she'd find it. I offer the gentle reminder that this community of faith is supported only by your giving. Stewardship is more than just financial donations, but is also about donating time and talent to help our church. If you can't write a check, please help our church survive, and in this case, help the queer prom, by offering your time to help make coffee and bring snacks, serve as an usher, serve on other communities, such as helping with worship on occasion. Please donate as you can with your time, talent, and/or treasure. All are needed for our church to prosper. Also, if you give cash, please let us know who you are by filling out an envelope so we know who is eligible to vote. However, if this is your first time here, you are not obligated to give, as we want this service to be our gift to you. If you are willing to donate your time and talent, please contact a board member. I am one. Anyone else a board member that want to raise their hand? Okay, or Alex? Okay. Let us know what you would like to do and what you can do to help. Give what you will and what you are able, for you are a generous people. And please join me in our offering prayer. May this offering equip us to inspire love and seek justice. And now it's time for announcements. Okay, so that's my turn. All right, so next week, next Sunday, Sayer Johnson, who just spoke, will be giving our service. He is a renowned writer, as well as a longtime member of our church. Keith Davis, who also spoke eloquently today, is going to be doing our service on the 12th. Lynn Murphy, who comes from Elliott Chapel and who loves music, is going to come and make us sing and play music for us on the 19th. And then, of course, on the 26th, we have our worship ministerial fellow, Eden Johnson, back in the pulpit. Do we really have to break down again today? Yes, we do. I know, we've had to do this every weekend this September, so it's kind of wearing us out. And then next week, we don't have to, well, we do have to set up, but we do not have to break down. So something to look forward to. Okay. Okay. Well, for right now, we're gonna be thankful that at the time. Is there anything in the community, Alex? All right, from Mary Johnson. Would you like to read this, Mary? Or you want me to read it? I've got the speaker. Okay.
Fill out a visitor card.
Yep.
If you want to be on our list to get the newsletter and the weekly flyer. Or if you want a name tag, fill out the blue card.
And if you filled one out and don't have a name tag, I will soon, because I'm back.
Okay. It's backed up. All right. Anything else? Choir rehearsal. Next week, October 5th, between 11:15 and 12:15. We need quorum, I've discovered. if not enough of us come, it gets canceled. But we're doing this so that that more of us will be familiar with the hymns to help those of you who are not. So anything else? Okay. Oh, yes, more. So Anna Dees, I know now more about that than I did before the service, why the group has the name that it has. The luncheon will be this Thursday, October 2nd, at the Old Bakery Beer Company in Alton, and the men's lunch group will be meeting on Thursday, October 9th, also at the Old Bakery Beer Company in Alton. Okay, anything else? Is that the last one? Okay, so time to extinguish the chalice. And I think we lost our extinguisher, so it's going to be me. Please join with me as we recite this extinguishing prayer. The light of truth and meaning cannot be put out. We are the keepers of this flame until we meet again. And now Joy will play. Oh no, sorry. Eden has a few more words.
So I invite you to put your sticky notes up here and then maybe talk to each other at the potluck about what maybe you wrote, if you feel comfortable, and or as you feel comfortable. And then also, if you're someone who likes to take some of the water with you and put it on your home altar or put it somewhere special, you can do that as you go as well. So go encourage and joy to do the work of being who you are as yourself and as a piece of the interconnected web.
Absolutely, I like it. One of my favorite memories, Thanksgiving at my house and Steve's turkey. Oh my God.
Yes.
And I am happy to host again. If you guys are welcome, if he wants to make turkey again, I would not stand in his way.
Yeah, no one will.
No, there's no point. It's because everything is second to Steve's turkey.
My mother keeps trying to recruit us to drive back east to do the turkey there. Maybe not